Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Got Charles 2. Why People Join the Alt-Right. I listened to this halfway through, a while back, a couple weeks ago at least. I wonder if he's got an updated view on this. But let's go through at least a little bit of it here. I can't promise that it's going to be juicy for the whole way through this, but starts out pretty strong.
Why are people joining the alt-right? What about that movement makes it attractive to the kind of people who join it? Well, in order to answer that, you first have to understand what the alt-right is.
Now, the alt-right is made of Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, Dave Rubin, Candace Owens, Thomas Sowell, Milo Yiannopoulos, Sargon of Akkad. Let's see. Mexicans for Trump. There's a group called themselves Mexicans for Trump. Blexit, Black Exit. Black Americans who used to be Democrats. That's the alt-right, okay?
What is the distinguishing characteristic of the alt-right?
The distinguishing characteristic right now is that they're not on the left. The left is a very small group. They define themselves very carefully, and it's getting smaller. And they eject anyone who doesn't meet the definition. It's cannibalism inside their group. Soviet Russia did this 100 years ago, so it's no surprise that it's happening now. Well, they did it 80 years ago or whatever. And you're a good communist, and you follow the party line all the time, and then one day you're under arrest. And the Nazis did it too. You're a good Nazi, you follow the party line, one day you fall out of favor, you're gone. Happens in communist China today. The left they define themselves a certain way, and if you happen to fall outside that definition, kibosh. The right is everybody else, and it's not a stable situation. We've got Trump and this sort of libertarian view. They don't like the old Republicans. None of the Republicans, remember Trump on the stage with 16 Republicans? They wanted the libertarian Trump. They didn't want the Republican standard garbage. So the right includes all the old Republicans, all the new people that are libertarians that can't vote for a Republican and can't stand them, and all the people that are leaving the left because they've been kicked out. Eric Weinstein, Brett Weinstein, Jordan Peterson, all these people have been ejected from the left. They were comfortable, had their career and everything, they were trying to stay quiet, and they got kicked out for whatever reason. So they've come over and joined us. Peter Thiel, I don't know if he would normally be on the right. I think he would be a leftist normally. He's come over to the right. Dave Rubin's come over to the right. The right is a huge tent. Candace Owens and the Sheriff David Clark and Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell and Blexit, Black Exit, these people are all on the right. That's the right today, okay?
It hasn't always been here. It's here now. What differentiates it from everything else that already exists?
The reason it has come about is because of the left. It is a reaction to the extraordinary aggression of the left on the one hand, and people on the left saying, where do I go? And they go to the place called the right. As Candace Owens said when she first went to some of these things, some of the rallies or whatever, she said, I went there, they told me, you've got to come to these Republican meetups. These are your people. Like, the people that you want to talk to and be with, they are over here. So she goes to them, warily, and she finds out everybody there is wonderful. Wonderful people. Absolutely salt of the earth. And
the answer is the emphasis on race.
What? What? The emphasis on race? Is that what Candace Owens is doing over there? Oh, boy. Where did he get this line? Now, to be fair, this is from October 2nd, 2017. All right. So it's almost 2 years gone by. So Charles, too, do you have an updated view of the alt-right now, in view of the fact of Brexit and Mexicans for Trump? If race is it, which race? Because the white people aren't over there screaming about whiteness. There are some old school Democrats who are still obsessed with race, the KKK, but they're not on the right. All right, Charles, too. There's my question to you. Do you have an updated view on this, or do you stand by your view that people join the alt-right mainly because of race? And go watch the video for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. He goes on for another 30 minutes on the subject. So he has a lot to say about it. But to the extent that you think that race is at the base of it, you're way, way off. Way off. For example, who supports affirmative action laws? The left. Who believes in cultural identity? The left. Who believes in the color of your skin says who you are? That's the left. There's none of that on the right. None of that. And to the extent that anybody is a KKK member, they're an old school Democrat. That's all the left, Charles. Racism is the left. The left fought to preserve slavery. Who fought against slavery? The North. And that, just follow those threads right through history. You've got the people who whip and chain and destroy and kill to get along in life, and you got everybody else. And sometimes they fight. And the alt-right is the assembling of the people who are being attacked by the extremely vicious and bloodthirsty left. That's what's going on. And the alt-right has plenty of room for every race, especially in America. I'm not sure if it's going to work in other countries. In fact, I have a very distinct belief that virtually nothing's going to work anywhere except in America. Just like during World War II. Every place fell apart except America. I think that's probably what's going to happen again. But in America, because we have freedom of speech and ownership of guns, we're going to be okay. We're going to make it through. It might be ugly. There might even be battles in the streets. We certainly have seen that, the LA riots and stuff like that. We have riots. America has a very, very tumultuous past. In New York City, had the Navy come and bomb their neighborhood in Harlem. It's true. It was in 1863 or 62. It was a draft riot. So we've had some, and then there was in 1973 or 77 or something like that in Baltimore, I think. Baltimore, shithole Baltimore. They dropped a bomb on an area of this area where they had citizens had gone crazy, anarchists had gone crazy, and the police couldn't get in there without being dangerous to them, and they bombed the place. They took a helicopter and they dropped a bomb on this place, destroyed a whole block. Anarchists had taken over. So we've got a pretty turbulent past. We've got a real rough past. But the story of America and race is that we accept all races and we become less racist over time. That's the story of America over the last 100 years. And even we used to think the Irish were a different race. We let them come in, we let them assimilate. So, and those of you who argue that there's high crime and stuff, I don't know what to do with that. All I can do is make laws about what individuals do. And maybe I shouldn't get off on that topic. That is a topic on the right, isn't it? What does race have to do with the whole thing? And if we import people from Africa, aren't we importing violent people And if the people from Africa who are already here and have been here for 200 or 300 years are on average more violent, you know, my only answer to that is I don't have a systematic view of why they're more violent. Is it because of drug laws and cultural exclusion, or is it because of IQ, average IQ? We certainly know that white people who end up in prison for committing serious violent crimes have a lower IQ. We certainly know that. So, without getting on to the question of whether the entire right is motivated by race, let's remember that the entire left is. That is their whole story. White bad, colored good, racism screamed from the rooftops. And on the right, you've got Blexit, you've got Candace Owens, Larry Elder, Thomas Sowell, Kanye West. Who am I forgetting? There's lots of black people and Mexicans and immigrants on the right. So the alt-right is not racist. That is insane. The left is definitely racist. That is for sure. They believe that white people are evil and that skin color is extremely important. It is your identity. Your skin color should determine who you vote for. So, Charles, too, can you please update this video? And, Jesus Christ. Tell me what's your new view on the alt-right, please? Or do you stick with the far left narrative, the CNN narrative, that the alt-right is racist white people? That's just CNN, man. That's so lame.